Just a quick update here on some of the talk surrounding the UFL labor issues. Now, UFL Executive Vice President of Operations, Daryl Johnston, he's trying to ease everyone's mind about a possible work stoppage here as we get ready for the kickoff of Season 2 of the UFL. In fact, he told Alt Football Digest's Anthony Miller, "I don't feel like there's any major concern that we won't kick off on March 28th, Friday night in Houston." Now, the origins of this possible threat sprouted up in February when a letter signed by all of the quarterbacks who were set to take part in training camp. This letter was sent to the league saying a collective bargaining agreement proposal from the league was, quote, unacceptable and insulting. Now, one of the quarterbacks who signed this letter was Showboats quarterback Quinten Dormady, who came to Memphis via a trade from San Antonio. So after training camp began and some of the promos had obviously been shot here, Dormady was released. Now, Dormady believes he was released because he took part in union activities while the collective bargaining agreement talks were stalled. Dormady told ESPN that on March 8th, Memphis general manager Jim Manos told him he would be released, but failed to tell him why. Dormady said in a face-to-face meeting the next day, Manos told him the decision was not based on his practice performance. Then he said he received a text saying that his accuracy and footwork led to the cut. He got that the next day. So this was Memphis head coach Ken Whisenhunt when I asked him about cutting Dormady, and now this comes before the ESPN article was published.
Well, I just think that you look at how the practice is going and you evaluate those, and that's no different than anything I've been involved with before from a standpoint of, what do you think long-term? Who's it going to be? I mean, if you've got three quarterbacks that are all competing for one spot, it's hard to get one ready. So we felt like we had to make a decision just so we could get the other two quarterbacks more reps. So then we could decide on who was going to be our starter. It's hard to do that with three. We felt like we went through the first week. We went through some of the other things before that. And that's just where we came up. And, we'll look at maybe getting another quarterback, but that will be potentially one that would be learning as we go through the season in case we had any kind of injuries.
Just hours after Whisenhunt said Memphis might sign another quarterback, the league announced Dresser Wynn would join the Showboats.
We brought Dresser in just because he's a young guy that we think had some talent, but he was so far behind from the scheme part. He's learning as he goes. And then between Troy and EJ, both of those guys, we've been rotating the reps equally, and we're, trying to prepare them both. We're going to need them both at some point during the season. So it's been good.
On March 14th, the UFL Players Association filed unfair labor practice charges with the National Labor Relations Board, with one of those allegations specifically naming Dormady. The UFL later that same day released this statement, reading in part that the league has acted in good faith to finalize a collective bargaining agreement that is beneficial to the league and to the players. When labor issues like this arise, there is always that specter of a strike. Now, the furthest that this has gotten, at least publicly, was some talk that the quarterbacks who had already sat out of the QB-only training camp might boycott media days, but that never happened. 3 players told ESPN they were threatened with facing a cut if they failed to show for media day, which seems to be what the UFPA and the NLRB are alleging in their release. Daryl Johnston said later that being cut was not being strongly considered, but told ESPN, quote, "The league will look at this as conduct detrimental to the league, which could raise to the level of termination. You're not going to get cut, but it can raise to this level." So far, it appears the players are involved in training camp leading up to the opening weekend. Johnston is trying to put a positive spin on this labor strife. As he told Alt Football Digest, everybody knows how important it is for this season to launch on the date that we set it and to be able to go through the season not worrying about anything but football. Here's to hoping the league and the players union can work something out before kickoff on that Friday night that will be a win-win for both sides, and hopefully that would be a win for the UFL fans as well. For more Alt Football videos, check these out and visit Alt Football Digest at altfootball.com for all the latest from the UFL and other leagues like AF1, the CFL, and more. Thanks for watching.